Hi friends, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And what I have for you today are 15 of my favorite creature feature films. And what inspired this list is the fact that I have movie tickets to go see Godzilla Minus One in theaters this Sunday, and I'm so excited. I've heard nothing but great things. I haven't been to the theater in a while, and I'm so excited to see a huge creature feature, a Godzilla film on the big screen. I can't wait. And I just wanted to let you know I did some limited research for this video, as I do for all videos, and I found out a couple things. Number one, people have very strong opinions about what is and is not a creature film, what does and does not qualify. So let me just tell you this. I just picked 15 randoms. I'm not saying these are the best of all times. You know I'm not like that. There are so many creature feature films that are awesome. There's going to be plenty more of these creature specific videos in the future. Also, if you don't see your favorite thing, like say werewolves, it's probably because I'm planning a werewolf specific video in the future. So just hang tight because everything shows up eventually. And I'm just going to get started with my first one that inspired this list, and it's going to be Godzilla 1954, and this is the Criterion edition. This one is 96 minutes. It's in black and white. It is in Japanese with English subtitles, and this one rocks. And this one came at a time when the Japanese people were just reeling from nuclear attacks, and then there were H-bomb testings going off in the Pacific, and out of all that came creativity in the form of creating this monster, which ended up starting this massive franchise. And I just think that's amazing that out of the fear that they felt and the panic that they felt post-war, they created something amazing. And this is a really great film. And I mean, there are so many Godzilla films. I admittedly have not seen a lot of Godzilla films. I'll show you the ones that I've seen, but the more I see of it and the more I see of this creature and the evolution of it and the different things they have it do, the more I want to learn about it and the more I want to experience. So I'm super excited, and I'm sure there's a Criterion set of Godzilla in my future somewhere. But I just want to quickly show you how cool this digipack is in case you haven't seen it, because what we have is, I don't even know if this one's still available, but it's so cool because you have the Godzilla pop-up, and I just love that. I love everything about this movie, and I could watch it anytime, anywhere. I could watch it over and over again. So since Godzilla inspired this entire video, I figured why not make it the first creature we talk about. And I have other ones here. I have seen Shin Godzilla. I have seen Godzilla, I believe it's Godzilla 98. This is the one with Matthew Broderick, and this is pretty good. I mean, it has its moments. I think it's pretty decent. We have this one, which I've seen and I enjoyed. Now this one I have not seen, but it's on the short list. I'm going to watch it very soon. It's Godzilla vs. Kong. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I have seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I really enjoyed this one. So I thought this was good. So that's my experience with Godzilla, unless maybe it's something that I saw in passing on TV and I don't remember. But I'm really, really starting to get into Godzilla. So let's see where that goes. And this next one, I just love this one. I have only seen the first one and I love it. But I just got the second one on the, they just released the second one on 4K in an Arrow Chunky box set. And I have the first one on an Arrow Chunky box set, the 4K. The 4K is stunning. And what I'm talking about, you know, Tremors. And I just love these guys. I think they're so unique, and I think they're so cool. And they're these big worms that go under the sand, like in these desert areas, and they pop up. They call them graboids. I believe they started calling them graboids in the second Tremors, from what I've heard. But that's what they refer to these things as. And they come out of the sand and they do terrible things. And I always say, like, I think of them as like Jaws in the form of a worm under the sand. But really, really good. And if you get a chance to watch that Arrow release of the first one, the transfer is absolutely amazing. But even more fun than the movie, and the movie's a blast in and of itself, but watch the special features where they talk about how they used miniatures to make some of the scenes. It is amazing what they did to make these scenes using these little miniatures. It's really, really cool. So definitely take some time with the special features if you have that set or you have access to it at some point. But I'm looking forward to, I'm going to show the second one in my upcoming haul. Hopefully I will have watched it by then so I can talk more about it. But I really enjoyed the first Tremors, and I'm looking forward to the second one because I hear the second one's pretty good. So that's why I picked it up. Now this next one, someone just asked me about this in the Desert Island Picks horror list, and I said I don't really watch it as much as I should because I'm very claustrophobic, and this one is just, it sets me off, but it's an awesome movie, and it's The Descent. And we have a group of gals that go out, they're kind of adventurers, and they go out there on this vacation, and they're gonna go down in these caves. And what happens is they go in the caves, and they get stuck in these little tiny spaces that no one should be in. And, you know, when they get down there, you know there's going to be something horrible and in the form of a creature, and that's all I'm going to say. But this is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen The Descent and you like these kind of things, I highly, highly recommend it. I can tell you, if you're claustrophobic like me, you're going to get triggered because I have a visceral effect every time I watch this film, but I do think it's fantastic. I think it's great. And I had to put it on this list because it's deserving. And this next one, I just love this guy, and I just watched the 4K release. I don't know where it is, but I watched it, and it is Pumpkinhead. And come on, look at Pumpkinhead. Is he not the coolest guy? I think Pumpkinhead is very cool. And what Pumpkinhead is for is, we have a guy who, he has a little son, and he has a roadside store, and something happens where people have harmed his son, and he is very upset about it. He's beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. And he hears of a woman who lives in the woods. She's very isolated. She lives alone. And if you go to her, you can ask her to conjure up Pumpkinhead. And the purpose of bringing Pumpkinhead out is to seek revenge on the people who have hurt you or hurt someone you love. And that's what happens. I'm going to leave it at that. But Pumpkinhead is a blast. So if you get a chance to watch it, definitely watch it. And he's definitely one of my favorite creatures of all time. So Pumpkinhead. And this next one I've mentioned in passing. I don't know that we've ever focused on it very much though. But it is a Bong Joon-ho film, and it is called The Host. And right on the front it says it's on par with Jaws. And this is a film that's in Korean and English with English subtitles. Basically what we have is we have a lake, and it's a lake where families hang out, people hang out, they picnic, they hang out on the lake, and we have a family who has like a snack shack, concession shack where they get food and things like that. And the little girl is playing down by the side of the lake one day when this creature, the host, comes down off the bridge, jumps down, grabs the little girl, and takes off with her. And what we have is the rest of the film is spent with everyone trying to find this creature to get the little girl back safely. And that's all I'm going to say about it. But if you haven't seen The Host and you don't mind some subtitles, you can handle subtitles. But if you don't mind some subtitles, definitely check out The Host. This is a really good creature feature film, and had to make my list. And this next one this is one of the films that I saw people arguing over, but you know what? It made my list. So it'll make another list that I'm planning, but it had to be on this one as well, because this one really impacted me. And I think part of that is because it's a franchise, but when I saw the first one, I think I was way too young. So when I saw the Alien for the first time, it absolutely freaked me out. And it was an image that I could never get out of my head. But yeah, anything in the Alien franchise would definitely be on my best creature feature list, because I think this is a great franchise. And, you know, like all franchises, some films are better than others. But overall, I really do enjoy this franchise. And I think these alien creatures are absolutely deserving of being on a best of creature feature list. So yeah, Aliens would be my next choice. Aliens, whatever you want to call them. And this next one, this is one that maybe not everyone has seen, but this is a great one from 1984, and this is the Arrow edition of The Horror Express. And this brings to us Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. They're in the film together. And Christopher Lee plays an anthropologist, and he has dug up I guess a frozen creature, and he wants to bring it back and figure out, you know, what it is and what's involved. So he puts it in a crate and he brings it onto this train, the Trans-Siberian Express, that's headed to Moscow. Now the train is filled with people, and he's got it locked in a crate, and we're not really sure what it is, but all I can say is things thaw, and you're on a train full of people, so you know nothing good is going to come of it. But this is a lot of fun. It's a blast, and as things really get going, it's just really a fun film. So if you haven't seen Horror Express, this would be one that's even good for people who aren't huge horror fans. I think you're really going to enjoy this one, and I have a good time with this every time I watch it. But you put Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing together in anything, and I'm going to watch it. So yeah, Horror Express would be my next one. Now here, this one's right on par with Godzilla as being just iconic, and that is King Kong. And this is the one from 1933. This is the one that started it all, and I just love this one. I think that it's great. I love the Kong character. I think this is also very sad in parts, but I love it, and I love to see him climbing up the Empire State Building. I love when he reaches in and grabs the woman right out of her bed. But everything about this film is just so good, and Kong is such an iconic creature and such an iconic movie character that I would have been remiss had I left him off my list. And I also like Peter Jackson's King Kong. I like this one. This is another one. I just thought it was, I think the story in parts is so sad, but I watch it anyway because I love the Kong character. And then most recently I saw Kong Skull Island, which I like this one. I thought the visuals were really good too. So that is King Kong. Okay, and this next one was another one that I saw people having heated arguments about whether it belonged on a creature list. Now, I think it belongs on this one because I love it for that reason. It also is going to show up on another one that is more specific to this type of film. But it is John Carpenter's The Thing, and I absolutely love this movie, as I know so many people do. I've seen it on so many people's top 10 lists of favorite horror movies of all time. And it's just awesome. You have this group of, I believe it's in 1982, and it's a 12-man research team set up in Antarctica, and they come across this frozen entity, alien, that supposedly is like 100,000 years old, and it's buried in the snow, and you know nothing good is going to come of it, and nothing good does come of it, and it just wreaks havoc on their little station they have set up. They're all alone. There's no way for them to get help. They are totally isolated, and everything about this movie just rocks. So if you've seen The Thing, you already know I don't have to go on and on about it, but I think this belongs on a creature list. So it'll show up on another one, but it definitely belongs on this one because it's one of my favorites of all time, and The Thing is going to stay here. And this next one, it got a great release. I guess it was in October because we were all talking about it in October, and it's Stephen King's The Mist. I mean, this is a great, great movie. We have a town in New England, and this mist is rolling in, and apparently there are these things, these creatures in the mist that are just horrible, and they do horrible, horrible things to people. And the thing that gets me about this movie that really hits home with me, and I think makes it so much more impactful, is that we don't see a lot of the creature. What we do see is terrifying, but we don't see it a lot. So it's kind of like you never know when it's coming. So that feeling of impending doom and dread is always there the whole time you're watching the movie because you never quite know what's going to happen. And I just think this is a great film, and I go back to it again and again and again, and especially now with this new awesome release. And yes, the black and white looks fantastic, so if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. But The Mist had to be on my list for awesome creature feature films. And this next one, I just recently rewatched it again. I had seen it before, but I hadn't seen it in a long time, and it's from 1954, and it is called Them. And basically, the way I see this one is that this is the American reaction, just like the Japanese reacted with Godzilla to bombs and nuclear war and all that. This is really the American reaction to our fears associated with bombs and nuclear war and things like that. And what they did is they created these gigantic ants that were a result of being exposed to the elements of the bombs. And these giant ants show up, and they are just taking people out left and right. They're destroying towns. They're at risk, we are at risk in this movie of being completely wiped out as a civilization by these ants. And this is so well done, and you would never think it was just a film from 1954 because the picture is beautiful, the story is great, it's engaging, and the special effects are the practical effects I should say, they're a little cheesy, but overall they're really good. And the way they put it together, they really sell the story, and I was never bored. I never looked away, never checked the time. I think Them is really, really a really great creature feature. So if you haven't seen it, and if you are as bothered by ants as I am, your skin's going to be crawling because I can't stand ants. I'm skeeved by them for some reason. And if you've been around the live stream, you already know that. But to see ants that are like 9 feet long and ripping people apart, it got to me. But this is an awesome creature feature. If you have not seen Them, I highly, highly recommend it. It's really good. And even if you're not, that's another one. Even if you're not a big horror person, you'll be fine with something like this because it kind of leans a little more towards sci-fi than like straight up horror, but really, really good. Very effective. And this is a no-brainer. It had to be on my list. And this is the one of the Alex Ross beautiful steelbooks, and it is Creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, look at that artwork. That is amazing. And he's grabbing at the gal. But the Creature from the Black Lagoon has always been one of my favorite Universal monsters. So there was no way I was not going to include him on my list, because he's the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, it's right in the name, Creature. So yeah, he's one of my favorite Universal monsters, and he definitely belongs on my list, and I just think he's awesome. And this next one, I think my goal is to see if I can get this on every single horror list I make. No, just kidding, but it feels like it's on every list. But come on, Bruce the Shark in Jaws. This is the ultimate ocean creature, but yeah, I had to have this on the list. Jaws is iconic. It made us afraid to go swimming in the water. It's such a great movie. I can watch this over and over and over again, and I never get tired of it. And I know everyone that loves it feels the exact same way. We watch it over and over. We've got it memorized. So I think that this is just such a great movie. It stands the test of time. It's got a huge following, and it's just great. So yeah, Bruce. He may not have worked in the movie, but he worked on us, so he is definitely one of my favorite creatures of all time. Now, this next one has to do with, I don't like things that swarm. So I don't like ants, I don't like insects and bugs, and I don't like groups of fish, especially when they are piranha. And I had to put Piranha on my list because this one this gives me nightmares when I watch it. I know it sounds crazy, but I can't stand the thought of having all these fish swimming around my legs, let alone the fact that they want to eat you, and they will eat you because they're vicious. But I think Piranha is awesome, and the 4K looks really, really good. This is the 4K, yes. But I know I have the 4K, but I wanted to make sure I was showing you the 4K. The 4K looks great, so if you haven't seen it in 4K and you have the capability, definitely check out Piranha in 4K because it's a winner. And my last one, my last creature, is kind of a creature, but not really a creature at all, because it's kind of just a gelatinous Blob. It's the Blob. And this is the original. I have both the original and the remake. The original is from 1958. It's 82 minutes. It's in color. And I just think this is such a creative concept, just to have this big gelatinous blob rolling around, taking over this town and sucking up everything it rolls over. And I think it's just so much fun. And I think it's a creature. So it's on my creature feature list. And obviously someone else liked it too, because 30 years later in 1988, they made a remake of it. And I think this is really good too. I actually think parts of this has a little bit more kick than the original, but honestly, you can't go wrong with either one. I mean, it's just so much fun. It's the Blob. It's so much fun. And yeah, this is my last creature on my list of 15 of my favorite creature features of all time, and the Blob is my last one. So I want to thank you all for watching. You know I appreciate every one of you, and let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite creatures of all time, so I know what to look for to do in the future. If you like content like this, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification. We do other things. We do haul videos, movie reviews, collection updates, all kinds of things. We do it all here. All the things happen here. So I'm going to be back, I think Saturday. I'm posting a haul video. I think that's the plan that's on the schedule. But if you ever want to see my schedule, check the community tab. I put it up there every week so we know what we're doing. And that's going to do it for me today. I'm going to go upstairs, have some dinner, watch a movie, maybe a Christmas movie today, and I'm going to call it a day. So thanks again for watching, and for now, that's a wrap.